The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, folks, a change of pace out there this weekend as we've dealt with quite a bit of rainfall, some of that heavy at times. Are we going to see a repeat with more soggy weather today? We'll have your forecast in just a bit.
This morning on DC News Now, taking responsibility. DC's infamous 911 center trying to increase transparency with people who live in the district. Now, the new efforts is expected to work and why some people say it's not enough. Plus, was your property damaged by recent severe weather? We'll explain if your insurance covers it or if you are on the hook to pay for the damage. And later, it is game day, people. We are counting down to the kickoff for the Commanders' home opener. Why today's game is expected to be a memorable one. But we are starting things off with a live look outside over the White House, looking very pretty despite the fact that it is a little cloudy. But more rain is expected across the DMV today, and we're ending the weekend with a washout. Still, temperatures much cooler than they've been in quite some time, so we will take it and count that as a win. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on DC News Now. I'm Tosin Fakile. The awesome meteorologist Damon Matson is in for Brittany this morning. So, Damon, let's talk this rain. When is it starting? How long will it last? Should people take that umbrella or poncho with them, especially to the Commanders game?
Well, first off, Tosin, you're awesome. Don't bring that for me
You're
over here.
awesome.
That's you. Come
You're
on.
awesome.
Come on. A little love fest going on here, folks. Sorry about that. But hey, the rainfall, yeah, it's going to be another little bit of a nuisance out there today, as we do expect to see more of those showers and a few thunderstorms. Yesterday, there it is. We picked up a good amount of rainfall. Some locations didn't get all that much, around 1/4 of an inch on the lower side of things, but you see these yellows on the map here indicating a little over an inch in Leesburg, one of the hard-hit areas the last few days. Leesburg, Sterling, Ashburn, another 1.5 inches out there yesterday from a lot of that rainfall. Now, currently we don't have a lot going on across the western half of the DMV, but to the east, that is a totally different story. We've had a lot of rainfall along and east of the Chesapeake Bay. Now some of that activity is making it closer to I-95 and the district, parts of southern Maryland down over toward Fredericksburg, Stafford, Dale City, picking up some of those showers. And we're going to see even more of this same kind of activity as we head toward the afternoon. When should we expect some of the heaviest rainfall for today? We'll have a full look at your forecasts coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, we're looking forward to that. Thank you. Developing now in the district, police are investigating a shooting that happened in broad daylight. A woman was shot and killed in Northeast D.C. yesterday afternoon. Police were on the scene for hours because of a barricade situation as well. Just after 3:30 yesterday, police were called to a shooting on Duncan Place. The woman was taken to the hospital where she later died. In that same neighborhood, a barricade situation also unfolded. Officials say the person barricaded is now in police custody. It's unknown if both situations, the barricade and fatal shooting, are related. And at 8:02, D.C. police are reminding you to keep your eyes open for escaped murder suspect Christopher Haynes. It's now day 5 of the search. Haynes was last seen sneaking around a backyard in Foggy Bottom Wednesday afternoon. That's the video on your screen. Earlier that day, police say he had escaped from custody at GW Hospital after assaulting an officer. And Haynes was arrested in Manassas for the murder of Brent Hayward. D.C. police are offering a $25,000 reward for information on Haynes' current location. You can also send in tips to police anonymously. And we're staying in the district where increased transparency could be coming to the DC 911 center. The Office of Unified Communications is launching a new data dashboard. Our Mariel Carbone reports from District Dogs nearly a month after the 911 agency came under fire for its handling of a flash flood event that killed 10 dogs.
The council legislation to create this 911 call center dashboard was actually introduced well before the flooding here at District Dogs, but the event really highlighted the need for it. The goal of the dashboard is to increase transparency and trust for when you call 911.
It didn't seem real. It felt like a nightmare.
A group of grieving pet owners pushing for change and transparency from one of the district's top public safety agencies. It's 911 call center.
We understand that these problems have been long running. We're not the only people affected by OUC errors.
Friday, the Office of Unified Communications launched this dashboard detailing 911 errors, dispatch rates, staffing numbers, and more. The agency has long been criticized for botched responses to emergency calls, most recently highlighted by the deaths of 10 dogs after flash flooding on Rhode Island Avenue last month led to feet of water rushing into district dogs. The call was first classified as a water leak, delaying response.
I knew as soon as this incident occurred, because it involves animals and people are very close to the animals, there'd be widespread interest in this story.
Dave Statter is a public safety advocate and critic of the OUC.
I'm glad to see that there is an attempt to be transparent.
Statter says the dashboard highlights an ongoing staffing shortage at the center. In August, it shows nearly 40% of shifts were understaffed.
We should be concerned that 911 won't answer. And if you can't staff the center to answer emergency calls when people need it the most, you're not doing the job.
Statter says he'd like to see even more transparency, including daily staffing numbers, not just monthly. And a point of contention from the dashboard, it lists that the district dog's call was handled appropriately. That is despite it taking more than 20 minutes from when the first call came in to when firefighters confirmed they were actually entering the building here. Reporting in Northeast D.C., I'm Marielle Carbone, D.C. News Now.
All right, thank you, Marielle. And we have new details on the massive tragedy in Morocco. That death toll now in the thousands. More than 2,000 people have died in the 6.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked the country on Friday night. Thousands more seriously injured. Even more have lost their homes in what's now one of the deadliest earthquakes. It's the biggest earthquake in the country in over a century, and the buildings were not built to withstand this level of disaster. News Nation's Kelly Meyer gives us a closer look at the destruction and what international leaders are doing to help.
Today, rescuers searching through rubble for any signs of life. After the strongest earthquake in more than a century struck Morocco, killing more than 2,000 people and injuring more than 1,800. This video shows the moment the 6.8 magnitude earthquake shook Morocco, sending residents running for their lives and combing through clouds of smoke in the darkness. The epicenter around 47 miles to the southeast of the city of Marrakesh. Today, survivors of the deadly quake survey the damage, line up to donate blood, and share their stories.
The room started shaking. There's no other way. We was going backwards and forwards, and everything started moving, and pictures started moving, and so we just grabbed some clothes and our bags, and we raced out.
Today, President Joe Biden in India for the G20 summit, saying his administration is in contact with Moroccan officials and are working expeditiously to ensure American citizens in Morocco are safe, adding that the U.S. is ready to provide any necessary assistance for the Moroccan people. Morocco's King Mohammed proclaiming 3 days of mourning, but the government didn't formally request foreign aid, which is required for outside rescue teams to be deployed.
And back here at home, 8:07, many across Virginia and Maryland are cleaning up after multiple strong storms. And these storms usually leave behind damage to property, damage that will lead you to a phone call with your insurance. Now, these damages are usually covered by your insurance, but if your car is damaged because of a storm, coverage may depend on your policy. The type of damages that are covered depends on your auto insurance. If you have collision or liability coverage only, the damages won't be covered. However, if your car insurance is comprehensive coverage, it's likely covered. Experts say if a tree falls on your home, regardless of whether it's from your yard or your neighbor's, you have to go through your own insurance company to get it covered.
If you need to do some of those minor repairs just to button it up and keep the damage from getting worse, keep all the receipts, take pictures along the way, be able to show your agent what you can do.
And just a reminder, take pictures and contact your insurance company immediately if you are planning on filing a claim. Well, let's talk sports now. And happening today, football is here for real. The Commanders are kicking off their home game of the season, and they'll be doing it in front of a full stadium. This is the first sold-out game in about a decade as fans welcome the new Josh Harris ownership group and embrace the team's next era. But the big question, can the team deliver in their home opener? Well, sports director Derek Forrest sat down with the Team 980's Craig Huffman about what the Commanders need to do to bring home that dub.
First of all, do not give up explosive plays defensively. You've got to make Arizona go out and beat you, whether it's Josh Dobbs or Clayton Tune. those guys are not going to beat you with a bunch of 15-play drives. The Cardinals have some talent defensively, probably a little better than people want to give them credit for. The front is not very good, though. So can this Commanders offensive line, which has been a massive question, hold down the fort? I think that's the biggest key to the game.
We are waiting. Here's to hoping the Commanders win. Well, they will have to play today's game without defensive end Chase Young. According to a report by The Athletic, Young is officially benched for today's game and could possibly be out for the next 3 games. Yikes. All right, well, speaking of Commanders, we know the fans might have a bit of a rough time in the stands during this afternoon's game. Damon is back. So when will these storms really start building up for these fans who are getting ready to see their team play regardless?
Yeah, it looks like this afternoon, unfortunately, is when we could expect to see most of that bit of rain we're going to have once again here today. I think the key thing to note is it's mostly just going to be rainfall, which you can play football in just plain rain, but storms, a different story. And right there this morning, we do have some of that heavier rainfall pushing in from southeastern Virginia, southern Maryland, the I-95 corridor south of D.C. already soggy, and we'll see more of this later on today. So we'll break down the timing of all of that rain throughout the day today, as well as what the rest of this upcoming week is looking like in a full check of your forecast here coming up after the break.